those Christians that said they knew best for my child, and this is what he looks like now.
Wow.
Can you get a shot of this, sir?
Wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
yeah. Do my children look like that, Brother Mike? You know my children. And he came to live with us for 6 months. And he said, had you raised me, my life would not be like this. And he kind of understands, but he's hurt. And if you look here, look at what that says. Look what photo that is. Yeah. Thanks, Christians. Y'all knew they were, you know. But yet my children are in the faith, doing well, you know. They deal with the same issues as other children, but not always. I'm not going to say the same issues because I'm able to guide them in such a way that there's a lot that they don't deal with. You've seen that.
I know, just personally, I'm going through the same thing, and those are concerns that I have, and so I can relate to your situation. Just seeing that, it's like, wow. I pray against it, but it is a father's very important to have. So
it's the will of the Father that we all might be delivered from this present evil world. Yes, sir. And I will add this, that, along with raising my family, we were raised, we got by. Now, my children never went without anything. They didn't know we was poor, and people in neighborhoods swore down we wasn't poor. But that child was raised in an affluent neighborhood, and he was kept captive and can't deal with the real world because he was just captive and controlled by his mama and don't know how to be a man.
Let me ask you this. So because I'm trying to get to the part right before you get to Straightway.
Okay.
So you was talking about being behind the scene. We were talking that you was talking about you saw.
Oh, I moved on to another mega church. I got an offer to play at a church that was on one of the 3 networks. I can't remember which one it was. NBC, ABC. Okay. They were on every Sunday. It's still there now today. That big church, and I wasn't there long. But this same experience I had there, I've had at other churches, and that where is you're seen as part of not part of the elite, but when they say how can I put it without keeping it clean?
Say it.
Well, you're seen as part of the administration. I'll put it that way. Even though it's music. And so you start being invited to things that are outside of church, and they obviously wanted to bring me in closer. For what reason, I don't know. I never got to find out. So I was invited around the pastors and the elders to watch a Super Bowl game. Well, the Super Bowl was playoffs. It was something. I think it was playoffs. And, I'm kind of hanging out, trying to feel these guys out. I don't know anybody, so I don't know what their whole thing is, And nobody's talking about, and I didn't expect them to talk about anything religious at all. We're watching a football game. But I did not expect when halftime came on, they put on porn.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. And, they're looking for my reaction, which I didn't give them. I'm playing it cool. I mean, I got things going on in my head. It ain't kind about these men. You know what I'm saying? That's just not.
Okay, so you got pastors, elders, and they're literally putting on porn.
Man, put it up. And I seen them wait for my reaction, And I knew what it was then. I said, they're seeing if I'm going to come into the club, And now I'm thinking the first thing in my head is, am I around a bunch of faggots? I mean, what men sit around? We all know about porn, but what men sit around in a group and hang out? We from the church, we was watching the game, which I never was watching the game because I'm watching them, kind of what the hell's going on. And then the porn thing. And then I get introduced to, even at church functions, not on Sunday, but even at church functions, hey, you in the club now, not unspoken club. You can drink, whether beer, alcohol, whatever, just put it in a coffee mug with a lid. So I'm like, man, these people walk around here juiced up. That's something else. That explains a lot.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. So you're going through all these different church experiences. You seem to be behind the scenes because of your gift in playing instruments and music. How did you discover Straightway? How did you discover Straightway? And what was your initial thought about Straightway when you first ran into it?
My initial thought. I was seeking the truth. I started studying with the Seventh-day Adventists. There was a guy named Mel Stewart, bass player. He's played with a lot of people, Shaka Khan, all kind of people. I always knew him, but I never played with him. He's at least 10, 15 years older than me. And it was on my heart. And the way it happened, my wife is a witness for her own sake, because she would have never believed me. I told her for a year, this guy won't go away. He's always on my mind. He's always on my heart. I got to find this guy. And it was an adventure, which is another story. I found him. And I come to him after playing at church. I went and I'm still dressed in my suit, and I go by his house. I finally find out where he lives, and he's out front on the first day doing yard work, he and his wife. And I said, man, I explained it to him. You've been on my heart, blah, blah, blah. And he looks at his wife, and they smile. We know why you're here. And they sit me down and tell me about the Sabbath. And they're Seventh-day Adventists. So I studied with them for 2 years. And then just like Christianity, I started asking questions. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, man. You know, Ellen G. White, you know, she ruling over her husband and all this hypocrisy, and y'all the people of the book, except when you want to twist a little here and a little there, you know. Yeah. I said, well, you know, started asking questions, they got offended. I never became a Seventh-day Adventist. I just studied with them. They became offended. And there was a book that we were looking at. I can't remember who the author was. Come Out of Her, My People. I'm opening the mail. I'm at home. I'm opening the mail on the first day, sitting in my office. And I'm standing up. I remember just like it was yesterday. And I typed in, come out of her, my people. Because the book never did grab me, but I figured I'm going to go back and look at that. And what popped up, the only, several subjects popped up. The only thing that popped up with a YouTube was Pastor Down. I clicked on it, and I'm opening the mail, and he started letting loose on them. If they keep Sunday, it is an automatic sign. And I listened, and I went on to listen, and I listened all that day and the next day and the rest of the week. And then into the second week, my wife, who always handles the administrative part of the company, the billing, the banking, you know, I write out the budget, what everything goes and what it does, and she executes that. And she took care of the bills at home as I had directed her do this. And all of a sudden in my mail slot starts showing up the bills. She never puts them in there because I should be working and bringing in funds. And and then on the third week, I believe it was third week or second week, she started watching the videos with me. And we're just like, so I told her, honey, you know how many times I've been played? You know, you've been played. She was not really brought up in church, but she's seen the hypocrisy, right? So I said, I didn't tell her this. I said, I'm going to handle this. So I sent Brother Dow an offering. You know, we'll send Pastor Dow. I sent him an offering because I needed help. I needed help to quit smoking, because if I couldn't quit smoking cigarettes, eventually I was going to die of smoking.
Your Pastor Dow asked for money?
No, he never asked for money. He's never even passed. They only pass the plate. They never pass the plate. He never has passed the plate. You know, but no. I want to test him because the word says, at the time, I was not being disrespectful to him, but the word says, try the spirit to see if it's of Yah. Now, I might have used it in the wrong context, but my intentions were good. I'm going to try this spirit. And I sent him an offering, and I told him my condition and what I needed help with. And so I'm driving along, maybe a week later, week and a half later, and I realized I've been smoking 37 years. Now, I quit hard drugs like that, you know. People, oh man, you look good. You still got your car. You got your car. You look nice. Come on, man. I quit drugs like that. Literally, just from one day to the next, done. But smoking, wow. Cigarettes. And sent the offering. A week or two later, I'm driving the truck, semi truck, 18-wheeler. That's the business that we have. And I realized I haven't smoked in a couple days. It just hit me like a bam. I reach, my cigarettes are there, my lighter's there, and tears just overwhelmed me. I found him. This is true. This man is true. The words were true. Everything was lined up in the book. And not only lining up, I'm learning as they line it up. I'm not checking him like I know the word. I know a bunch of cliches that Christians use that ain't even in the Bible. You know, them Christian preachers will stand there and tell you, have a Mary and this and that, and dearly beloved, we are gathered here today, and ain't none of that. So I'm listening to this pastor, I'm learning, and I'm learning truths. And to have that done, I have seen people brother. As a child, as a young man, I remember all the way up to being grown, playing in them mega churches. I seen people come down to altar call, wanting healing in Christianity, sincerely wanting to be healed. I remember one woman in particular, Barbara Johnson. She, excuse me, she, if there's a such thing as the model Christian, it's her. And she started walking funny. She said she had cerebral palsy. Then as time went on, she had a cane. And she kept coming down to this altar call. And then next thing I know, she got a walker. And then she in a wheelchair. And then she died. And she ain't never had to die. They could have told her, we can't heal you. This is all just, she and so many people that I know, they ain't here right now. Because, and it's like all of them were genuine. They just never got the truth. But she stands out because I knew her. I knew her as a child. I knew her through all the mega churches. And she is a beautiful woman, man, just in her heart and her spirit. And to see her diminished like that, it's sad, man. The sick and shut-in list. That's it. We don't have one of those here. We don't have a sick and shut-in list. We got elders. If it be any sick among you, call upon the elders. And they hit me like a ton of bricks, man. I mean, I remember where I was. Exactly where I was on the highway. I pulled over, man, and I was just like a little baby, just thankful and pissed off at the same time, but more thankful. And then, eventually the anger, the frustration, moved on from that and made myself known to the ministry. And, the Spirit compelled me, he don't ask for no money, compelled me to, I added up how much money that I smoked in 1 year, and I sent that. Now, wait a minute. Remember, I've been off work watching videos, and my wife is screaming, we got no money. I said, write a check and send it. You got the address? Yeah, just, okay. And been blessed ever since. And I always try to encourage brothers, take it off the top. Take that 10% off the top.
So let me ask you. So you've seen so much hypocrisy from as little as 9 years old. You was able to see the hypocrisy behind the scenes and everything. I hear. How long have you been a part of Straightway?
Since 2013.
So 5 years. Yes, so you've come down. When you first came to Straightway, now from watching on YouTube, when did you come here, and what was that like?
We came here at Passover 2013. Fought all the way here. When I say fought the devil.
You and your wife.
Yeah, we're battling, spiritually battling, because those spirits were never real until I came this way. They were real, but they were never real until I came this way. And when we got here, it was at the end of the feast, and everybody was going home. We came, my vehicle broke down, and I was here for 3 weeks, and people fed me and took care of me for 3 weeks. I went ahead and visited for a week. We ordered parts. The parts came in, wrong parts. It's that. Teacher Shane came home every day for 1 week after working. He wouldn't eat. He would come home. Just as soon as he got on the land, he'd go immediately to the shop and work on my vehicle until it just got, brother, go to bed. You got to get up a couple hours and go work. He did that for a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. These people.
So that was your first time. That's what you experienced. That type of.
They didn't know me. 3 weeks. They fed me, and I think only 2 of my children. The other 2 were grown. Wow. Yeah.
So have you seen that the same type of hypocrisy that you saw in the church? I mean, I'm assuming you have an eye for this stuff. Have you experienced that in the 5 years that you've known this ministry, Straightway, Pastor Dow? Have you seen that here?
No. They truly, genuinely do live by his book as they learn, because he's brought them along more and more and more, with more and more truth, the spirit of truth and knowledge. He's brought this ministry, and no, I've never, no.
So what's the biggest impact, and we'll end on this, what's the biggest impact that this ministry has done for you?
The biggest impact is that some of the big impacts is to know my role as I'm still learning my role. I don't know where Yah wants me in the ministry, so I'm just very supportive to the pastor, just and encourage brothers, support the ministry. It's very important. I know my role as a husband. I know my role as a dad, as a father. I know my wife's role and how she should submit to me. I know how to honor my wife. That his honor, not the world. There's so many big impacts. One of the things I've always been concerned about is my youngest son suffers from autism. So, and we've seen growth in that area too. As I get cleaned up, here's the key to that. One of the keys, as I get cleaned up, you see more growth in his speech, in his mindset. He's always been an obedient child. But that biggest thing was to know that I have I have a family, that I don't have to worry about who's going to take care of my youngest child. If we live our lives in the order that, the old grow old and pass away and live out their days, and the generations, I don't have to be concerned with that anymore.
There's things Levy charged to Pastor Dow being arrogant or whatever. Did you ever have that sense about him I know you said you heard him like, wow, but did you ever sense that about Pastor Dow?
Arrogant? No, not at all.
Even before
I think his confidence is mistaken for arrogance, but he's got to be bold. If he was some soft-spoken preacher, I wouldn't even take him that serious. I mean, I couldn't, but he is bold for it. He is standing strong and true for the Most High, and he won't be moved. He won't be moved. He's never changed. I asked him, how do you stay like this? No matter what they say, what they do, what challenges come along, no matter what's going on in the ministry, no matter what goes wrong, what goes right, what nothing, he never changes. And I've sat for these 5 years and watched the book being played out. When the word says that such will be added as needed. You came along. I used to be frustrated with Pastor Dow on a couple issues, but it was me. And I mentioned one of them is, why you had to be so honest? You sit here, you won't, I understand the 503c thing, and I understand why, and I get it, and I really honor you for that. But can't we tell a lie and you quit paying all these damn taxes for these people? Why you write this check honest and pay these people all, and he couldn't stay, he didn't like it. But now I'm able to see the integrity of a true Jeremiah 3:15. If this is man's law, Yah's law is above man's law, but he honored that. And then, as I said, the Most High would add, then along came you. Then along came the foundation. But do you see how he established that integrity?
Thank you, Brother Mike. Great interview. Great interview. Thank you so much.
And if I don't have my head covering on, if I don't have a skirt on, I don't feel like, I feel exposed. I feel like I'm not doing something right. So I have it on all the time, wearing a skirt all the time, even to bed.